Gonna get started here and introduce everybody. We got, starting in the orange, it looks like on my monitor here, KG4 GTK Porter. We got Wilson, N4ZQT. We got Roger, KJ4YSY, and Loretta. And then starting in the back row, Brad, WA4HBM. We got Bobby, KB4QNR. We got David, KB4ESN. And the dynamic duo Linda, AK4GZ, and Glenn, AK4HA. First of all, we need to figure out a date for our May luncheon, which will be in the south end at Frisch's on Harrisburg Road. We've got 4 Thursdays, the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. I would suggest either the 15th or the 22nd. Now, does anybody have a conflict on one of those dates?
We're going to be gone the 15th.
Going to be gone the 15th. Okay, does the 22nd work for you?
Yep, fine.
Okay, 22nd works pretty good? Okay, let's do it Thursday the 22nd. And that's 11:30 at Frisch's.
But now we were going to decide about...
Yeah, next item of business was to talk a little bit about the North End luncheon. Now, we may want to just keep it at Applebee's. My observation about Applebee's was that it's noisy. It's a lot noisier than Frisch's, so it's harder to carry on a conversation with other than, the people in your immediate vicinity. And we've had some service issues as well. Does anybody have any suggestions about another place? Cracker Barrel? Okay.
Denny's downstairs.
Because Cracker Barrel's got that round table, and maybe
Yeah.
we can get the round table there when you go in.
They hold that, I think they hold that for large groups. Okay, and then Glenn, you said something about Denny's. Can they handle a large group?
Yeah, I don't see why not. They couldn't deny it.
They could put some tables together.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't asked them or anything. We've been there twice now, I think, so that's all I know about it.
Okay.
Never at lunch, so...
Okay. Does anybody have any objections to either one of those of you that would like to attend? Okay, what I think I would like to do is try Cracker Barrel first. Let's see how that goes. This Denny's has had some service issues, but I haven't been in there in a while, so maybe it's
down here.
right up here. You're talking about?
I didn't know that.
Well, that may have changed by now, but the last time I was there, it wasn't too good.
They did, the times we've been in there wasn't hardly anybody in there,
Okay.
and so they were just as good as gold to us.
Okay. Well, let's try the Cracker Barrel, and if that is a problem for any reason, we'll then the second choice will be the Denny's.
The thing about Cracker Barrel is if you can get that round table,
Yeah.
everybody can talk to everybody else. Where you get the long tables, you got a group here, a group there, a group here.
Yeah. Whenever I've gone there with a big group, they've always taken us to that round table. I
Yeah.
think they hold it for a group.
Yeah.
Now, by 11:30, it might be gone, but still, if not available, they will move tables together. I see them do it all the
Well, I
time.
can call and see if they'll reserve it.
Okay.
Reserve it for us for 11:30.
Okay. Okay, good. So that's a plan. Alrighty, now I want to talk about excellent field event that we had Saturday at the horse park. There were 4 stations set up. Just an absolute blast. Of course, I don't guess there's ever been a time that I didn't enjoy myself on a field event. Roger, could you summarize? Now, there have been some people, like some remote people, that are interested in hearing about antennas and QSOs and stuff like that. Could you summarize about your fan dipole and what all you worked?
Okay, my fan dipole is cut to be resident on 40 meters and 20 meters. That's usually your the busiest bands during the day. And, usually even 20, you don't, there's always somebody
Yeah.
who can get on 20. So I picked 40-20. It could have been anything else. I have tried 3 bands, and it will work with 3 bands, but I found that trying to maneuver 6 wires
Yeah.
got to be really a hassle. And so I just cut it back to 2 bands, the 40 and
Okay.
the 20. I also found out this year that I've been making my antennas out of the 18 gauge speaker wire. That stranded wire stretches. When you pull it tight so many times, it stretches. And I noticed when we was at the horse park Saturday, my SWR was a little high on the upper end of 40 meters and 20 meters both, just because the antenna had gotten too long.
Mine may have done the same thing. It was actually resonant about 13.9
Yeah.
minutes.
So
Okay.
But your
today,
that's hard growing copper wire.
yeah, that would definitely solve that problem. You know.
Okay.
So today, Loretta and I, we went back out to the park, just for me to make adjustments in that antenna. And lo and behold, it took about 3.5 inches on each end to bring it back into where I wanted it resident again.
Okay.
So yeah, and I just use a T-fitting from Lowe's with a plug in each of the ends, and that's what I tie my antenna to in the center, and use a cabinet mount that I screw onto the bottom of the T to run my coax from. And basically it's a very simple antenna, very cheap, but there is some issues with the stranded wire stretching.
Okay. And what, now I know you worked a lot of Indiana QSO Party on 40. What else, if anything, did you do?
Oh, okay. I made one contact, Flint, Michigan, and there was just a regular ham. And I talked to 2 or 3 in Tennessee, 1 in North Carolina, and 1 in North Georgia.
Okay.
And,
Was that all 40 meters? Did you
That
run
was
some 20?
all 40 meters.
All 40?
Actually, I never did even make it to the 20 meter.
20, okay.
I stayed on 40 most of the time. Well, once they found out I was in the park, they was kind of covering me up there a little bit. I had several people call and wanting to at least make contact with the QRP station. And same thing today. I got on there, and once they found me, there were several people that came in and talked. And actually, if I was getting a rather good signal on them, I could talk to them. The only one signal I couldn't really get back to was Mississippi, and he just couldn't make it. And I did make contact with California, but he said he just absolutely couldn't pull me out. So
Okay.
that's really not too bad for 5 watts.
Okay, now, Glenn, we have somebody that's interested in a description of your antenna, so why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay, what we used was what's known as a Cobra, and it's a piece, it's wire that's cut 140 feet from tip to tip. In other words, that's 70.
So that's the total length,
Yeah.
70 on each side?
And it zigzags. It goes out, back, and then back out again.
Okay, so it's three conductors on each side?
Right.
Okay.
And of course, the continuity on it it's all off one end to the other.
Right.
Continuity on it. And it's the whole antenna is just about a ½ inch wide. So the proximity of the distance between the conductors are controlled, and that's a controlled capacitance that you have built into your antenna.
Okay.
And this antenna, I checked it with a analyzer on it, and it was good in all the bands, all the hand bands from 160 meters all the way up to 6 meters.
Okay.
And it was great most places, great being better than 2-to-1 SWR. But two bands, 80 and 20, were a little higher than that,
Okay.
especially on the end. Of course, it was all tunable. It performed great. Linda, get Linda to read who we were.
Works in Finland.
Yeah, the OH, what band was that on?
It was on 40.
It must have been on 20.
Well, let me look and see here, doctor. That right there? Which one?
That's an old one. Field
Oh.
Day's an old one.
Okay.
There's still
Oh, okay.
Melbourne, Indiana. I talked to Hendricks County, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Franklin County, Indiana.
Okay, so you worked a lot of IQP.
Okay. Okay, it was on 18.120 megahertz.
Oh, okay, so it was on 17. Okay.
Yeah. That's where it was.
Okay. And then you worked a lot of IQP probably on 40 meters, right?
Yeah, we worked, let's see, Belford, Florida, Crawford, Indiana on 40, and several other Indiana stations. They had something going on up there.
Okay. Now, tell me about the feed line on that antenna.
It's a 450 ohm ladder line,
450 ohm ladder line, and it was not, is 96 feet?
96 feet.
Okay.
Yeah. There's, cutting it that multiple eliminates some of the RF feedback problems we have.
Okay.
And we found it works better if you get it up off the ground.
Yeah.
And I just pulled it out as far as I could and tied it to Roger's car.
Yeah, yeah.
With a rope, and just get it up, just get it over off the ground.
Okay, Bobby, your turn. I know you had the commercial end-fed.
Yeah, a 2040 meter infed and using a 703 icon at 5 watts. And of course, the typical, got into some of that Indiana QSO party.
Okay.
mix. And, I did have a CW contact on, I think 20 meters, the station down in Texas. But I had a phone contact up there on 20 with, evidently there was there was some QSO
Yeah.
party going on out west.
Right.
I did work a guy in Wyoming.
Okay.
And, I may have worked Wyoming once before, but you know, it's just not some place that I ever got into very much. So that was probably the best QRP contact. I did hear, I did tune up on 17 meters, but I didn't have an antenna for it. But I did try to tune the 2040 just to see what would happen. I heard a real loud station up there from Germany, but there was a big pile up, and like I said, the antenna not really being cut
Okay.
for it. I gave it a try a few times, but I ended up just going back to one of the other bands. That I had
Okay.
the antenna for.
All right.
Worked out well.
Okay, good deal. And I had my usual 20 meter dipole, and I had tried, I tried PSK 31, and part of the problem is not being able to see the computer screen. And when we go to Shelito, when we're sitting in the shelter, I can see my screen, but out there I couldn't. And I called some station, but I kept losing my mouse. I couldn't see where my mouse was pointing and stuff like that. So I ended up switching to 20 CW, and I had 14 contacts. Some of them were Seven Land QSO Party, some of them were New England QSO Party, and then there was also that QRP to the field thing. And I know some of you worked some stations in that. I worked a guy in, I think in Texas in that, and in Florida in that on 20 CW. And those guys had as good a signal as a lot of the base stations that were running the big contests and stuff like that. And then there was one station in the Netherlands that was running one of the contests. My contest schedule said that there's like, 10 contests going on that weekend. So I gave him serial number 1 and he seemed happy. So I don't know, what contest he was working. The Italians had a contest and I tried to call one of them and didn't get through. And then there was another one on there that was just sending so blasted fast. I couldn't, if he sends his call sign, 5 or 6 times and I still don't have it, then that's too fast. So, okay, anybody else, want to make any observations or anything while we're on the subject of that field event? I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
It was fun.
And I appreciate all the help from people, putting antennas up and stuff like that. And I'm ready to do it again. So
Roger had so much fun, he went out and done it again.
done again today. Yeah. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about was with this long winter, I hadn't really given much thought to talking about field day, but we had a member in Louisville ask about that. And so I said that I would bring it up at tonight's meeting. I know that, well, first of all, I typically operate from home, running, on battery power, 5 watts QRP. And I know that we typically set up at wherever bars is. So is that kind of what you guys are thinking, or do some of you have some different ideas about what you're going to do, or have you given any thought to it?
Well, they asked about it. I really was thinking of setting up at my house in the front yard and sort of exposing myself to the community, since it doesn't seem like I'm bothering anybody's TV sets or anything. So I thought about actually setting my canopy up in the front yard and operating from there this year.
Okay.
But I did tell them also that that we would have a station set up at the field day.
Okay.
Even if I have to go out there, then I'll go out there.
Okay.
But because I will be operating.
Okay.
So it'll either be at home or I'll operate at the field of the
Okay.
bars field.
Do we even know if they're having it at that same park as last year, or have?
They tell me we're having it at Military Park again.
So the same one as last year?
Same one as
Okay.
last year.
Okay. What's the name of that park? Do you remember from last year?
Military Park.
Military Park's what it's called?
Veterans
Park. Okay.
Veterans Park.
Okay. I was going to say military didn't sound right. Okay. Okay, so, yes, sir.
Can you get me a write-up of background of what this is all about, what QRP is and how it works, so that I can put it in the paper with the field day?
Oh, okay, well, is something going in for field day just in general for bars?
Yeah, we'll have
Okay.
that. But I could even, a week before, put something in.
Okay.
And if he set it in his front yard, we could take a reporter out there.
Okay, yeah, I would say that if you decide you're going to operate in your front yard, then let Wilson know. And really, as far as for your write-up, Wilson, probably all you need to do is say, if you want to get in that much detail, just say there will be operators there running 5 watts.
But I need a good description of why this is so different and so difficult.
Oh, just because it's so much lower power.
Right.
And we get the benefit from a scoring standpoint, we get benefit of a higher score multiple because of its low power.
I need that
Okay.
information.
Well, I think that's,
So you write it up for me.
well, I don't know what to tell you other than what I just told you. because you're gonna have, I mean, it's not gonna be that much different from what Bars is doing, other than just the power level.
Well,
So-
if you do it, let's see, field day is June. If you do it May, we could put it in May.
Well, you're talking about something to go in the newspaper?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you are, and you're gonna write up for something for Bars?
No, but
Okay.
I will get it written up.
Okay. Well, if that person has any questions about QRP, have him call me or Roger or Glenn or, but I think from the standpoint of something going into a newspaper, it's not, you're probably not gonna wanna get into that much detail.
When will that be published in May?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's whenever we get something, then I can take it down.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Bars Field Day chairman's probably gonna write up something for you then? or-
I hope so,
Okay. Okay, good deal.
but,
I'll write it,
Is that at Veterans Park, did you say?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, now could I get an idea of like who's thinking about going to Veterans Park? Or anybody? Have you all decided yet?
We'll probably go help Roger out.
Probably go to Roger, okay. Okay, so do we have anybody going to Veterans Park? Bobby?
Not for sure right now.
Okay,
I'm up in
okay,
the air on the field.
Okay,
If
all right.
nobody goes, I'll go. If
okay.
nobody else is gonna go, then.
And you'll take your entourage with you then?
Yeah, I just think,
Okay.
because it wouldn't be right.
Yeah, don't forget about the food.
We'll be there.
Okay, so you're gonna go to Veterans Park. Are you gonna operate QRP?
No, I'll be over there.
Okay,
It's free food, we will be there.
That's key right there, free food.
yeah,
We just want to,
okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to have definite plans right now. I was just curious as to what people were thinking about, whether they had, definite plans or not. So that's good enough. That's good enough. So. Okay, that's all I had on my agenda, so we can just kind of throw it open. We got about 10 minutes left. Bobby, in your absence at meetings, we've been talking about what we think you've been doing. You want to talk about what you've been doing?
We've been guessing what you've been.
Yeah, straight from the horse's mouth.
Project-wise?
Project-wise, antennas, whatever.
I have built a couple in-fed antennas, just off plans off the internet
Uh-huh.
and information out there in general. I've wound one for 20 meters, and I've tested them, and also they've worked well so far. One for 20, and then I did one, and that was the one for 20 has a tuned circuit to match it for 20 meters. The other one I did has the 9-to-1 unit inside of the box, and it can feed, let me go back. The 20-meter one is resonant, so you don't need a tuner with it. You can just go deploy it and use it on 20. The other one is will work 40 through 6 meters, but you have to have a tuner, and it's the one that you have to, it's a tri-filer wound toroid with number 22 wire. I think it's 9 turns of the wire group. You have 3 different wire sets, and you have to keep them all symmetrical and wind them all around 9 turns around.
Okay, so that's your unun.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that makes the 9-to-1 unit. Then you cross wire a couple of the windings. You go back through. You kind of put 2 windings in series, and then. But anyway, that one works real well, and I have logged. I've used it at home now in the backyard, where I've tried both of these out, and I have. Like on 17, I've used it on 40 all the way up to 10 meters and made contacts. I haven't tried it on 6. But I mean, I have worked all kinds of Latvia, Slovenia, all kinds of stuff on like 18 megahertz up to
Yeah.
17 meters.
17
20 meters works really well.
Uh-huh.
I've switched over between my dipole with some people, you know, like on 20. I've had a couple people just let me know which one sounded any different. And my response on 20 has been pretty much, I couldn't tell much difference. Both antennas sounded about the same. Now on 40, it tunes up and does work, but it doesn't, there's just not enough wire. It's only, the radiator on it's only 28 feet. So it just doesn't compete with the full 66 feet wire on 40 meters. But, you know, for 20 meters and on up, it seems to be perform really well. So
Okay.
those two, and I did make a 4-to-1 balun that will handle about a kilowatt, I guess, or maybe a kilowatt and a half. I used number 14 wire. Went up to, you know, like Home Depot and bought some wire and actually wound a 4-to-1 balun, and I should have brought it. I built it in one of these 4-inch square electrical boxes. It's made for the outdoors. It's got like 4 legs on it. They're kind of a plastic and they got a rubber seal around them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I put the SO239 in the bottom and then a red and a black, you know, up on top binding post for the twin lead to go to. So that turned out really well. Looks really good. I'll probably have pictures on my phone. I could pass my phone around if somebody wants to see the balun. I think I got the infeds on here too.
Okay. For those of us that didn't get to, of course, I got to see all that at the horse park Saturday, but for those that weren't there, didn't get to see it, you can do show and tell on your phone there.
Yeah, I can do that. Or we can bring, you know, I'll be glad to bring that out.
Yeah, bring it.
The covers off of them maybe at the next meeting where everybody can look inside and pass them around.
Okay, we've got, you know, like 3 or 4 minutes left. Who else has something related to a project you've been working on, an antenna you've been working on, interesting contact that you made or that we haven't covered already, anything like that? Okay, we'll go ahead and get on out of here and let bars get going. Thanks for a good meeting, folks, and see you on the 22nd at Frisch's.